Hello there, everyone. How are you all doing? Today, I'm going to be going over my power rankings that I made for every single NFL team. I'm going to try and keep it relatively short. I'm going to pull up stats and everything kind of as I make my way up. But it's my first time ever doing NFL content. I'm not the best at knowing everything about NFL. I'm still relatively new, so I might be missing stuff here and there. But hopefully that can be forgiven. Um, but I wanted to try something new. I'll be throwing in some clips here and there, just to kind of give you all something to watch. They might not be the best, but I'm trying to figure it out. And yeah, I'm just gonna get right to it. So starting with the Arizona Cardinals, Arizona is gonna be pretty solid this year. Well, no, actually, they're gonna be horrible this year. I don't know why I said solid. They're not gonna be good at all. Jacoby Brissett is your number one quarterback. They went 3-14 last year. Jacoby Brissett's going to be your main guy. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson. In terms of offseason acquisitions, you get Jeremiah Love with the third pick, Carson Beck, who might be an interesting quarterback option. But kind of outside of that, you don't really have anyone else. Tyler Algier is interesting. James Conner might come back and be worth a damn, but it's, to be decided. But in terms of defense, Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, and Denzel Burke, Mac Wilson, definitely your main guys on defense. Buda Baker as well, Andrew Wingard, in terms of off-season acquisitions. The team's just not good. They have a lot of holes. Defense isn't very good. Their offense struggles a lot, and their O-line is not great. And they have no good quarterback. So the Cardinals are at the bottom of my power rankings because of that. They just have a lot of holes and not really any way to improve. Next is Miami, who's in a very similar spot. They traded Jalen Waddle, let Tua Tagovailoa go. They're not going to be really all that good. The team is just flawed in a lot of ways. Looking at it, they went 7-10 last year, but that was kind of a fluky 7-10. They really should have been much worse. Devon Achane is overall the best offensive player they have on that team. Outside of him, the team is kind of just a bunch of nobodies, if you really want to think about it. I mean, Ollie Gordon is an interesting running back. Jordan Brooks was interesting. Bradley Chubb is not on the team anymore. He got traded too. So, I mean, the team is just not going to be good. They're going to be struggling a lot this year. You're hoping Malik Willis comes in and can be your number one quarterback. They paid him a lot of money in the hopes of doing so. So for his sake, I hope he does well. But yeah, you still have Jordan Brooks. Chop Robinson might be really good. Willie Gay Jr. But yeah, the Dolphins are just not very good. They have a lot of holes that they need to fill. So I have them ranked as my 31st best team. Next up, I have the Jets. Now the Jets are interesting. They drafted. It wasn't Arvell Reese. That was the Giants. Texas. David Bailey. That's who it was. They drafted David Bailey with the second pick this year. They went 3-14 last year. They were not good. Geno Smith is their leading quarterback coming into the season, who struggled a lot with Las Vegas, so it's not a good sign. But I mean, you have Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, I think might be really good. But outside of that, their O-line stinks. Their offense kind of stinks. Defense, you have Nahshon Wright and Minkah Fitzpatrick. But Minka's kind of washed. I don't know a ton about Nahshon Wright. Maybe he's good, maybe he's bad. Demario Davis. But your main guy is going to be Will McDonald. He's kind of the staple that you're going to have on the team next year, outside of David Bailey. But the team is just not going to be very good, I think. So, yeah, I have the Jets at my 30th spot. Next up, I have the Saints. Now the Saints are a bit of an interesting team. The Saints might be better than where I have them, but I just don't know, really. Tyler Shuck was solid in his rookie year, but he's already 26, so it's like, damn, that's crazy. Chris Olave is really good. Jawan Johnson's solid. Alvin Kamara's not as good as he used to be, but he's okay. Jordan Tyson might be an interesting player of note. You pick up Travis Etienne, who could be really good. Devin Neal could be interesting too. The team is just full of guys where you're trying to piece together some kind of interesting outline of a team. Their O-line isn't great. And defensively, I mean, you have Chase Young, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Cameron Jordan, and that's kind of it. So, I mean, team has a lot of holes, especially on the defensive end. I just don't see them being very good. So that's where I have the Saints. Next up is the Browns. The Cleveland Browns. Where are the Cleveland Browns? There they are, Cleveland Browns. All right. So next up is the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns are a bit of a contentious team, to say the least. Mainly because they've been ass for most of their history, but also because of the players that they have on their team. Shedeur Sanders could be either really good or really bad. It's kind of a toss-up, frankly. And Dylan Gabriel's so whatever. But he wasn't horrible in the appearances he had last year. Joe Flacco was pretty okay too. All things, actually, that's a lie. He threw 6 picks and two touchdowns. That's not good. But your main pieces that you're looking here on offense is Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin. Both rookies last year, both did really, really well. Jerry Jeudy, he had a bit of a down year, but he's definitely capable of a lot better than what he did. Shedeur, obviously, is going to be really interesting. Isaiah Bond was your first round pick. He was a rookie last year as well. He might be a little interesting. Kind of, looking around. Their O-line definitely isn't great. Casey Concepcion is your first round pick this year. You're hoping he'll step in and he'll be a weapon for you. On the defensive end, Carson Schwessinger won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was really good. Myles Garrett isn't on the team anymore, so just kind of ignore that. But Schwessinger, really good. Jared Verse is on the team instead. He's pretty solid. Tyson Campbell, Grant Delpit. The Browns could be really interesting. Oh, and Denzel Ward too. They could be really interesting, or they could be really bad. Probably bad regardless, but they have some interesting players on their team. So that's why I have the Browns where I have them. The Raiders next. Now, the Raiders I don't know what to think about the Raiders this season. They're either going to be really good or they're going to be really bad. I think they'll be bad. But frankly, I could see it being a toss-up. The issue is with all these teams is most of them are really young. And so some of them can take leaps like the Panthers did. Some of them might not be ready to. I don't really know. But in terms of the Raiders, obviously they went 3-14. They were the worst team in the NFL last year. Ended up with the first overall pick, and they selected Fernando Mendoza, who will come in and hopefully be their quarterback of the future. I think he'll be pretty good. But he's going to be sitting behind Kirk Cousins for a majority of the season, which is fine. I feel like that makes sense for him. But yeah, I think he'll be pretty solid. In terms of offensive pieces for this team, you have Ashton Jeanty, who's really good. He obviously kind of struggled a little bit. but it is what it is. 5 touchdowns. Brock Bowers is really good when he plays. Jalen Nailor you signed to try and come in and be like a wide receiver of interest for Fernando to throw to. And their defense outside of Max Crosby isn't very good, although they have Quay Walker, Isaiah Polamau, Jeremy Chin, Nakobe Dean. Some interesting pieces for sure. But this Raiders team probably isn't going to be very good. Their defense is still a bit of a black hole. Same with their O-line. So I just don't think they're going to be incredibly good next year. Moving on, we have the Tennessee Titans. The reason why I have the Titans over the Raiders is because I think they have a chance to be more, they have a better chance of taking that leap than the Raiders do. Just because, sophomore season, Cam Ward might be really interesting. He was okay in his rookie year, but I think he has a lot of chance to get better next year. You bring in, I think it's Carnell Tate in the first round to be that number one wide receiver for him, hopefully, down the road. And, hell, if they get it, maybe even this season. But this Titans team is going to be really interesting. They'll definitely be something to take note of. Looking at it, Tony Pollard's still here. Alec Iamanair might be really, really good for them next year. I think he'll kind of be the number one guy for the most of the year. Unless, Carnell starts to take over. Wan'Dale Robinson, pretty good. Calvin Ridley's still there, so if you need a wide receiver to rely on, Calvin is there. Defensively, it's still a bit of a tough team. Jeffrey Simmons is really good. Cedric Gray is really good, but outside of that, it's kind of just a bunch of guys that you're throwing around, and hopefully they'll land. Maybe they won't. Most of them aren't very good though, and so defense is definitely gonna hold them back if they do take a jump. So hopefully they're still bad. They probably will be still bad. But the Titans have a good chance. Next up is the Bengals. The Bengals, their hole is defense. Defense is not very good, but when healthy, the Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase connections are going to be bonkers. Chase Brown's solid too. You get Dexter Lawrence to help on the defensive end, which might raise their floor a little bit. But overall, the team's still going to struggle a lot. I just don't see how this team is going to be much better than most teams around them. But they definitely have potential to be good. So always keep an eye on Joe Burrow. Always keep an eye on that offense. But their defense is definitely going to hold them back. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a bit of a weird team because last year, at one point, they were 8-2. But this year, they might not be as good, and I think it's because Daniel Jones is going to be out. He really helped, lead this offense to go somewhere last season. But with him being out, it's going to hurt a lot. But Jonathan Taylor's really good. Tyler Warren's real good. Josh Downs is solid. Their offensive weapons are really good. It's just a matter of, is Anthony Richardson going to be good? And I don't really know the answer to that question. It's probably going to be not good. In terms of interesting players, you have Latu, Cam Bynum, Malachi Blackman, DeForest Buckner, Sauce Gardner, Chavius Ward. Definitely some interesting pieces, but probably not anything enough to really elevate you from, that good team to a great team. Next up, I have the Steelers. The Steelers are always going to be perpetual mid, but I think this year they're going to finally break that mold, and I think they're going to be ass. I just don't think a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to lead this team to any kind of meaningful success. Even if you do have guys like DK Metcalf, Kenneth Gainwell, Rico Dowdle, Jalen Warren, Michael Pittman. Like, the team is solid around him, but I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be your guy. And on the defensive end, it's pretty much just TJ Watt, and that's it. Like, Jalen Ramsey here is here too, but he didn't really play last year. So I just don't see the Steelers team being much better than anything better than mid. I just don't see it. Next up, I have the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are definitely going to be interesting. They might be good, they might be bad. I don't really know. It's really about is Jaden Daniels going to be healthy, and can he go back to that rookie form? If he can, guys like Deebo Samuel, or not Deebo, because Deebo signed with the Niners. Terry McLaurin might help raise the ceiling of this team, but they need a lot of receiving help. They just don't have a lot of offensive help for Jaden Daniels, and that definitely doesn't help. Although they did get Rachaad White, which does help. Defensively, I mean, you have some guys, Rasul Douglas, Mike Sinestro, Nick Cross, Frankie Louvu, Sonny Styles as well is a good pickup for him. But I just don't see it being an overly incredible team. So you really just got to see how it's going to shake out. Next in this list, I have the New York Giants. The New York Giants, they're going to be pretty solid. I think they have the best chance of making the playoffs. This is kind of my in-between tier. They have the best chance just because you hire Jim Harbaugh. You pick up Arvell Reese. And you just kind of load up the team a little here, and you make them a lot more interesting. But Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboot, Devin Singletary, Tyron Tracy, Calvin Austin, Darnell Mooney, Malik Neighbors. If he can come back healthy, he's going to be really good. Same with Isaiah Likely. Kind of. He's just going to be good. He plays. On the defensive end, you're looking at Brian Burns, Tremaine Edmond, Drew Phillips, Abdul Carter, Arvell Reese, Greg Newsome. It's a pretty stacked defense, actually. So yeah, I mean, I think the Giants are going to have the best chance of, taking that leap. They're going to be coached by Brian Daboll. I think this season, or no, it's Jim Harbaugh now. It was Brian Daboll last season, which, whatever. But they have a chance to take a good leap, so good for them. This next year, I'm going to kind of just explain is like they could be interesting, maybe like a fringe playoff team. One of those being the Kansas City Chiefs. You can never rule out Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think you kind of can. Patty was good last season, but he wasn't elite, and then he got hurt, and that really kind of shut this team down because Travis Kelce's old, Kareem Hunt, Rashee Rice is in and out of jail, to put it lightly. I mean, you add Kenneth Walker, which is an interesting piece. Justin Fields will take over for Patty to start the season if he isn't healthy. But there's not really anyone of note on defense other than Chris Jones, and he had a down season last year. So, just not really anything going on with this team that really tells me they're going to be a playoff team, but it's just Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes tells me this team is going to be good, and that's kind of all I need to know. Moving on to the next team, I have the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are going to be really good. I think they're going to end up making the playoffs. They might even win the NFC South. Even though I have, two of their division rivals ahead of them, I think they have the best shot. I just need to see it for another year, if that makes sense. But a ton of good players on this team. Bryce Young shut up a lot of the haters last season by making the playoffs and having a good second half of the year. Teteroa McMillan was the offensive rookie of the year. Chuba Hubbard, Jalen Coker, John Mechie, Jimmy Horn. Definitely some interesting pieces there. And on the defensive end, Devin Lloyd, Mike Jackson, Jalen Phillips was a big pickup. J.C. Horn's one of the best corners in the league. Definitely a lot of interesting defensive pieces. I'm really high on the Panthers. I think they'll be really good. So I have them in this middle tier. Dallas, I don't really need to show you Dallas. As an Eagles fan, I don't like Dallas, but I can respect that they're building something interesting. Dak is a solid quarterback. Brandon Aubrey is one of the best kickers in the league. George Pickens, wide receiver 1, and CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 2, is disgusting. Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, Marquez Valding. I'm just throwing that name in because it's funny. Shout out Marquez Valding. And on the defensive end, you bring in a ton of rookies, which might really help. You have D. Winters, Kobe Durant, Rashawn Gary, Deron Bland, Kenny Clark, Malik Hooker. And, I mean, you bring in some rookies, too. Caleb Downs is going to be your big guy, along with Devin Moore. So those are kind of the guys that you're looking at to really step up. And I think the Cowboys have the potential to do that. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons. They're a good team. Not really much more. Atlanta, looking at their season last year, they were 8-9. They were okay. And they didn't make a ton of marginal improvements. They brought back Kyle Pitts, which is good because Kyle Pitts actually had a solid year. Bijan's really good. Drake London's really good. Michael Penix could be good. But you bring in a lot of supporting pieces like Brian Robinson, Omoday Zacharias. And on the defensive end, you have Xavier Watts, James Pierce, who I think is in legal trouble right now. Jesse Bates, though. Jalen Walker. Actually, it might be Jalen Walker. I don't know. One of the rookie defensive players is. Just a bunch of interesting pieces on this team. I think the Falcons might be able to pull something off if they can put things together. But that's kind of always been the question with the Falcons. So, yeah. And I believe last in this tier, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are a good team. I can't even spell. There we go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're pretty good. But they definitely have their struggles. Their main issue is that one of the best defensive players in the league that was on this team just requested a trade. Which is not good at all. Vita Vea wants out, which is not good for them. But in terms of, interesting players, you have Baker Mayfield, Kenny Gainwell, Emeka Ibuka had a good rookie year, Bucky Irving, Cade Otton, Chris Godwin. No Mike Evans. He went to the Niners, which is going to be weird. But all in all, the team's good. There's not really much else you can really say about the Buccaneers. They're just solid. Moving on to this next tier. These are more of my, fringe kind of playoff tier. The Vikings are next up. Minnesota could be really good, but they could also be really bad. It really just depends. The main question is J.J. McCarthy going to be a good quarterback? And if you can, then they'll be really good. If you can't, then they'll be really bad. And so, you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, Jalen Nailor, TJ Hawkinson. All really interesting pieces. Although Jalen Nailor actually isn't on the team. I'm just reading the page. I'm not really looking. Even though I probably should be. Let me see. Vikings roster. You pick up Jawan Jennings, which is interesting. Kyler Murray is going to be competing with JJ for that quarterback spot. So, maybe Kyler has a bit more ceiling. But in terms of defense, you have Andrew Van Ginkel, Eric Wilson, Isaiah Rodgers, Jalen Redmond, Dallas Turner. Just a bunch of interesting pieces, really. They should be good. But you never really know with the Vikings. So, next up, I have the Houston Texans. Now, the only reason why I have them this low, although you could honestly convince me to have them higher, is because of CJ Stroud. Their defense is insane. We know this. Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, among other pieces, Danielle Hunter, Dirk Barnett. They didn't make a ton of, acquisitions in the offseason this year. Not really, at least anything that I remember. Actually, that's a lie. You get David Montgomery, who's a good running back. He'll definitely help. Woody Marks is solid too, though. Dalton Schultz is pretty good. Jaden Higgins. You have Tank Dell and Nico Collins, who are always going to be a good one too. It's just, can CJ Stroud be the rookie year CJ Stroud? Can he elevate this team? I really don't know. But we've seen it before. I'd like to believe that we can still see it. It just really depends on what he's capable of. So, yeah. Moving on, we have the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is good, but they're definitely down a few important pieces, Michael Parsons being the main one. They also have no receivers, really. Jordan Love is an okay quarterback. He's solid, but he's nothing crazy. Josh Jacobs is in legal trouble right now, I think, so that's not good. You lost Romeo Doubs, and you lost Dontavian Wicks, so it's Matthew Golden and Jaden Reed are your 1 and 2 wide receivers. You definitely want a little bit better than that. But, I mean, you have good players on this team. Tucker Kraft is good. And on the defensive end, you have Michael Parsons too. You have Xavier McKinney. You have good pieces. It's just a matter of, can you get it all to fit together? And I don't really know. I just have a lot of questions when it comes to the Packers. Next up, I have the Chargers. If man, and honestly, they're kind of the if team. There are just a lot of questions with this team that I have that need to be answered during the season. Mainly, how is the offense going to look, and is the defense going to hold? Because usually, I feel like it's one end doesn't and one end does. And last year, it was kind of the defense more than it was the offense, which was surprising because the defense wasn't supposed to be very good. But Justin Herbert had a kind of mediocre year. Not really, anything of note coming from his end. Although he started off the season incredibly strong. And in terms of off-season additions, I mean, you get David Njoku, which is interesting. You get Keaton Mitchell. And, I mean, you have Cam Dicker, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, Kamani Vidal, and Omarion Hampton, which is pretty good. It's just, can Herbert elevate those players? And, I mean, in terms of defense, you have Tuli Tuipulotu. Lutau? Oh, wow. That is a butchering. Derwin James Jr., Dayan Hanley, Tony Jefferson, Dante Jackson. Interesting pieces, but can the defense hold? And can the offense hold? And can the O-line be good? Because the part of the problem is the O-line keeps getting pressured. You get Brendan Thompson to come in, maybe be an interesting wide receiver piece. Alex Harkley and Logan Taylor maybe could be interesting O-line pieces. But you really need them to be, because otherwise I don't know if this team's going to be good. So, yeah. And ending out the tier, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're an interesting team. Notable players from them are, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Brian Thomas, Brendan Strange, John Hines Allen, or Josh Hines Allen. It's Josh, isn't it? I know this. I should know this. It is Josh. Man. Antonio Johnson, Jarian Jones, guys like that. Travis Hunter, Cam Little, Jacoby Myers. It's a good team. All around. It's just they're not elite on either side, and I think that's kind of the issue. But when you have a good team on both ends, you're going to end up being a playoff team. So this is kind of my playoff team tier. Next is like my fringe Super Bowl contenders. So next up I have the Broncos. The Denver Broncos are really interesting. You pick up Jalen Waddle, and when you have an insane defense like they do, Nick Bolton, Pat Surtain, on offense, Bo Nix, Sutton, RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Troy Franklin, Evan Ingram. You have good pieces on both sides. It's just, can the offense elevate itself enough, especially with Jalen Waddle now, to take that next step and be one of the best teams in the AFC? I think they have a chance, but for right now, I think this is a good spot to put them. The Bills, the only reason why they're higher is because they actively tried this offseason to improve. You pick up DJ Moore, hopefully to be that number one wideout. Dalton Kincaid, you already have Josh Allen and James Cook. D. Alford was a good pickup. Geno Stone, Bradley Chubb. They're trying, and it's respectable. I think Josh Allen can elevate them into a playoff team, but I really need to see it to believe it if they end up, making a run to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that's where I have the Bills. The Ravens are in a very similar tier, where is Lamar going to be able to truly elevate himself in the playoffs? He's developed a bit of a playoff choker, resume. Same with Josh Allen. And I think it has its merits, but it also doesn't. But I mean, Lamar should have a great team around him. Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. You pick up Trey Hendrickson in the offseason. You should be really good in theory. And I mean, Lamar is still a top 2, top 3 quarterback in the entire NFL. It's just a matter of, can you put it together, in the playoffs? Can you really make it happen? And to that, I don't know. I'd really just have to see it to believe it. But defensively, they're really good too. Marlon Humphrey, Jalen Hawkins, Nate Wiggins, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Calais Campbell. Just a really good team all around. Trey Hendrickson too, obviously. They're going to be really good next year. And I think they have a chance to make it out of the AFC and maybe be one of the best AFC teams in the whole, AFC. Next up, I have 2 NFC teams. As you can see, most of the NFC teams are dominating the top of this list. And I think that's just because the NFC is just that stacked. But looking at the lines here, let me pull them up. The Detroit Lions are really, really good. They have their weaknesses, especially on the O-line sometimes. But when you have Penei Sewell, you're going to be really good. Obviously, you have guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, who's like a top 4, top 5 running back in the whole NFL. Amon-Ra, really good wideout. Jameson Williams proved himself a lot last year too. Sam Laporta is one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL, and Jared Goff is a pretty decent quarterback. Not one of the best, but he's pretty damn decent. In terms of defense, you're looking at guys like Aiden Hutchinson, who's just really good. Al-Quadin Muhammad, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, although I'm not entirely sure if any of those guys are on the team still. Let me look. Not really. Kirby Joseph, we don't want to talk about Kirby Joseph, trust me. But for the most part, this team's really, really good. Watch out for the Lions next year. They'll definitely make some noise, I think. And Isaiah Pacheco being one of their main pickups isn't the best, but you could do a lot worse than that. So definitely watch out for the Lions. Next up, I have the Chicago Bears, who had a breakout season last year. And I think that's for a good reason. I think Caleb Williams is that guy. I don't think that's really a question anymore. The question is, are the young guys going to develop? Because, DJ Moore's not on the team anymore. So it's kind of up to Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Colson Loveland, and DeAndre Swift and Kyle Menegai to, elevate that offense. And I think they're capable of it. I don't think they needed DJ Moore, really. And I think they kind of proved that because Luther Burden was just that good, and so was Roma Dunze. So, and then on the defensive end, they definitely lost a few pieces this offseason, the biggest of which being Kevin Byard. But they still have some good pieces for sure. I believe Montez Sweat is still on this team. Devin Bush. Kobe Bryant was a good pickup. Tariq Stevenson. Grayvon Dexter. And they picked up a few O-linemen to really flesh out that offensive line. Because that was one of their main weaknesses. So I think this team has a lot of good chances to, improve. And they definitely have a lot to prove. So I have the Chicago Bears at number 6. Now, entering the top 5. These are all teams that I think are, without a doubt, Super Bowl contenders or capable of making a Super Bowl. There's never necessarily a guarantee of anything, but all these teams definitely have the pieces. First, I have the Seattle Seahawks. They are currently the reigning Super Bowl champions, which good for them. This is their second Super Bowl in franchise history. And I think they really deserved it last season. They definitely earned it. But the issue with this team and why I have them at number 5 is their cap space really screwed them over. They ended up losing most of their free agents due to the cap space that they have. They lost Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs, Kobe Bryant to the Bears, Nick Woolen, I think it was, to the Eagles. They're just down a lot of pieces going into next season, and I think it's going to come back to bite them. But, Sam Darnold really shut up the narratives, throwing 25 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. JSN's one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL. Zach Charbonnet is really good. Cooper Kupp is solid still. AJ Barner is really good. Rashid Shaheed, great. And on the defensive end, you still have a lot of good pieces here. Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence. And you still have Ernest Jones, I believe, Darion Kendrick, Drake Thomas. Just a bunch of good pieces, Seattle, definitely still going to be one of the top teams in the NFL. The next team I have up is the Eagles. The reason why I have the Eagles this high, and yes, first and foremost, they are my home team. But there's not really a ton of bias in that. Because I'm able to accept, that this team isn't one of the. They are a premier team in the NFC, but they're not the best one. Hurts still has a lot of questions that need to be answered, although I personally think he's really good. Saquon's not as elite as he was last year, but still pretty good. Devontae Smith, we need to see if he can be number 1. I think he's capable, but we have to see it. Dallas Goedert, Tank Bigsby's still really good. We pick up Dontavian Wicks, Hollywood Brown, and Mekhi Lemon is going to be our number 2. I think Mekhi Lemon should be pretty good, or at least I really, really hope so. And our offensive line, although took a step back last year, I think with the full offseason and getting healthy, they should be really good. But where the Eagles really stand out is their defense. Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jordan Davis, Jahad Campbell, Reek Woolen, Jalen Carter, Byron Young, Nolan Smith. It really just keeps going. Jeremiah Trotter. Team's full of depth on the defensive side, and they picked up a few pieces in the draft that I think are really going to help. So this Eagles team, I have them at number 4. I think they're going to be better than the Seahawks, but it's really, you're splitting hairs on the margin here. So, yeah. Next up, I have the 49ers. Now, the reason why I have the 49ers this high up is because they're just a really balanced team all around. They may have lost, in the division final, or in the, divisional round to the Seahawks. But that's not really any fault of their own. They just were outskilled by a team that was just better the whole year. Niners definitely do have some questions to answer, but I think they're really good still. You have Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, you re-signed Debo. Kittle's out for the year, but you can kind of find someone to fill in that gap. Ricky Pearsall is really good. Mike Evans, Demarcus Robinson. Jordan Watkins was a good pickup for him. Brandon Ayuk is on the team still somehow. And on the defensive end, you have Fred Warner, Jack Jones, Jair Brown, Nick Bosa, Dre Greenlaw. The defense is still stacked. So I think this team has a lot of potential to still be really good next year. We just kind of have to, see how it's going to play out first. And if this team can stay healthy, they definitely have a chance to win the Super Bowl. So the next team up, going into our top 2 here, and the best team in the AFC, I think, is the New England Patriots. I hate saying that they're the best team in the AFC just because of Tom Brady flashbacks, but realistically they are. Drake May is obviously the premier guy on this team. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL last year, and it wasn't particularly close either. Travion Henderson is an elite running back. Ramondre Stevenson is solid. A.J. Brown, who they traded for, definitely should help Drake May quite a bit in terms of having a weapon. Hunter Henry, Romeo Doubs, Kayshon Boutte. Mac Hollins is not good, but he's there. They definitely have some pieces. Will Campbell on the O-line. Their O-line is going to be really good, I think. And defensively, you have Marcus Jones. You pick up Kevin Byard, who should be really good for them. Robert Spillane, Tremont Jones, Christian Gonzalez, Harold Landry, Craig Woodson, Carlton Davis, Milton Williams. Just a really deep team overall. This team turned itself around pretty quick. I think a lot quicker than, what most people would imagine. But, they're going to be really good. That really shouldn't be a surprise to many people. And, yeah, the Patriots, they're going to be elite. Now, the last team I have here at number 1 is the LA Rams. LA Rams are just going to be elite next year. They're kind of like a super team, honestly. It's kind of insane. If you look at who they have on their team, they had the MVP in Matt Stafford, who was just bonkers for age 38. Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and Devontae Adams were the weapons he was throwing to. Which is an insane group right there. You also have Blake Cornum, really good. Tyler Higbee, solid. Just a bunch of good pieces on this team, really. And you have a quarterback to come in, and Ty Simpson, to hopefully, lead the team through the future too, which is really good, setting yourself up like that. But the main reason why I have this team going number 1 is because of Myles Garrett. You trade for Myles Garrett, you have to give up Jared Verse. But you do that trade 9 times out of 10. Or 10 out of 10 times. Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the whole of the NFL and one of the best defensive players in NFL history. And when you add him on a defense that was already really good with Nate Landman, Cam Curl, Byron Young, Cameron Kinchnis, Manuel Forbes, Kobe Turner, this team just becomes absolutely bonkers, and there's not really much else you can do to stop it. This team is just going to be far and away one of the best teams in the NFL next year, if not the best, and I have them as my Super Bowl favorites. So, yeah. With all that being said, that will do for today's video. If you'd like me to do more NFL content down the road, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video and stayed through the end, thank you for watching. I will see you all very soon. See ya.